Hello, you beautiful nerds. Welcome to the Drunk Banthas podcast, where we talk about sci-fi, fantasy, horror, and all the popular art that we love. Also, we do it drunk. I'm joined, as always, by my brother Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good.
Today, we are talking about episodes 7 and 8 of the Fox original series, Atlanta, created by Donald Glover.
Only on FX.
Only on FX. And, you know, us, like most people, we watched it on Hulu because nobody watches live television anymore. But these were some weird ones. Well, one was weirder than the other. Well, I guess, I don't know. But, like, to start out, we're going to talk about Trinity to the Bone. It's got another vignette episode where it doesn't follow our main characters.
And it's not even in Atlanta, apparently.
Yeah, that was very surprising. Weird. But what did you think of this episode specifically, like the Trinity to the Bone episode?
Well, I thought it was trippy. It was a great way to explain that, like, no matter how poor you are or how rich you are, we're all constantly doing stuff outside of our family and things that are truly important to us to make sure that we can provide for our family. And in the midst of that, the family kind of gets a little bit put on the back burner.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's a weird one. I liked this one a lot. It was definitely not funny at all. Like, there's like maybe 3 jokes in it. I mean, obviously it wasn't.
You counted? I thought certain things were funny.
Yeah, there were definitely things that were funny, but like the overall tone was definitely didn't feel comedic.
I mean, I don't really laugh while watching any of these episodes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
In any season, you know, but I think the show is hilarious. It's just like, you know, I find the funny in the funny.
Right. Yeah, there were some moments that I found funny for sure, but I feel like it's just more intentionally dramatic and also got some creepy vibes toward the end, especially. But we'll get into that a little later.
The creepy vibes.
But I really liked it. Like the first, yeah, like we'll get into it. We'll get into it. But yeah, like the episode.
Let's talk about what we're talking about.
But we're introduced to this rich white family and their young son Sebastian.
Bash, baby Bash,
little baby Bash. He's like, they're wondering where their housekeeper / babysitter is at.
this bitch late.
And then they found out that she's dead.
They didn't say, "Oh, I hope she's okay" or anything. They
nothing like that.
This bitch late. Got me fucked up. Making my yoga class. I'm missing my yoga appointment.
Or I was like, I can't do this and I can't do that for this kid today.
That nigga didn't even eat the food that I bought him.
Yeah, it's very.
I ordered food to go, and that nigga didn't even eat it.
Didn't even touch it. And she's weird. She didn't even say it from like a concerned place. It's like, oh, I just want him to eat. She's like, this little shit didn't eat the food.
Fucker didn't eat the food that I ordered, because I ordered myself some coffee because I couldn't go to the coffee shop because somebody needed help putting on his cummerbund.
Yeah, it was you wearing the cummerbund to work?
No, I'm talking about the little kid.
The little kid.
He was all in his little private school outfit or whatever.
Yeah. He's definitely looking very. You could tell that these people are wealthy, or at least very rich.
Like, yeah, they're giving you the feeling, the vibe.
Yeah, and you can also tell that there's like a lack of connection between them. Not only that, you know, the mom doesn't know what her kid wants to eat, but also the dad. Like, or like neither of the parents know that there's like some mango curry sauce in the fridge that the kid apparently
How do you not
loves.
know this was in the refrigerator, dog?
Yeah, it's like you don't know.
You never go to the refrigerator, dog?
Yeah, you never looked at it just like out of curiosity. It's like, what is this in my fridge?
You don't go to the refrigerator, dog. That's what that means.
Yeah, like it's wild. It's wild. You can already tell very quickly that there's a disconnect between the kid and the parents.
Very quickly.
But yeah, then they explain death to the kid and that Sylvia's dead. And then Sebastian wants to go to the funeral. Like, he immediately is like, "Oh, there's a thing called a funeral. Let's go to that."
Yeah, I'm riding with that. Let's ride out on them, Daddy.
Oh, and I forgot to mention earlier, we get a knock at the door where they get a package.
Right after Sylvia dies.
Right, yeah.
Right after they find out that she's dead.
Yeah, like immediately after she dies, they find out. I mean, they get a knock at the door, and there's a package for Sylvia. But they don't show what he does with the package. I'm assuming he just discards it.
No, they don't show you what he does with it, but they he says later on that I took the package that came for Sylvia to the door guy, and he said he has no idea who dropped it off. Because I told him to return it to sender. He says, I had no idea who dropped it off. So I sent it back to return to sender.
Okay, gotcha.
And then it kept coming back. It was the ghost of Sylvia.
Yeah, because right after they have the talk with the kid about, the Sebastian about, Sylvia's dead, that's when we get the second knock at the door. And we see the package again.
And it's a little bit less inflated than it was before.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like, it's
like less puffy.
Mm-hmm. And then the family goes to the funeral. Well, actually, like, I'll talk about that a little bit later. But yeah, like, the family goes to the funeral, and you can already see that Sebastian is like been ingratiated in like this Trinidadian culture. And
as soon as they pull up, the daughter of Sylvia greets them and starts talking about things that Sylvia used to say, and
right.
Sebastian starts finishing her sentences, and they find it very adorable.
Yeah. Oh man, it was. I'm not gonna lie. Like toward the second half of this episode, I cried a lot, and this was one of the moments where I unexpectedly started crying.
Jesus Christ.
Well, especially on the second time I watched it. It's clear that he loved her so much, and like there's this like strong connection between the two of them, and like you can see how happy Sylvia's daughter is that like she really made a connection with this kid, like and also just like the sadness of the disconnect between the parents and the son, and also earlier when the parents are in bed, they mentioned they want a Metropolitan or maybe a Chinese young babysitter in the future, implying that the culture that he was getting is not the kind of culture that they want.
And it wasn't implying that. I think they were implying that the culture that he was getting, because we hadn't been introduced to the culture. We don't know what the culture was yet.
Right. Yeah,
I think they were implying that the culture he was getting wasn't going to benefit him in the future.
Right.
Or that maybe we was getting no culture. I thought Sylvia was white until we got to the funeral.
Right.
Maybe, like, could have been Mexican, but the whole time I'm thinking, oh, this is a white lady.
Oh, okay, yeah. yeah.
Like nothing they said really told you who she was or what she did. Hell, until she said the babysitter, I thought it was, until the kid said, Mom. I thought that the bitch was like the stepmom or some shit.
Yeah, I assumed.
And Sylvia was like the mom.
There were little things that I assumed when, like, I'm still not exactly sure what more Metropolitan means, but it made me feel like it was someone young and white or something, or maybe gay. Yeah, like somebody, like not. I definitely didn't. And how they were saying that she was cheap, I was like, it makes me feel like this is a person of color that they're talking about. But yeah, I didn't.
When did they say she was cheap?
Well, like, she said that. He was like, how expensive a Chinese babysitter is. And he's like, well, Sylvia wasn't cheap. And she's like, well, it wasn't expensive.
Well, so he didn't, nobody.
Well, then, not cheap. But yeah, like, well, yeah.
But like, like, I understand what you're saying, but like, that didn't make me think, that made me think she was white. She has little to no value as a white nanny. She's just white.
Right.
She's not going to get anything more than she's going to get from his parents. He's white and they white. So that's why I thought, well, the lady might just be a white lady.
Right. Well, one thing that made me feel like, at least in this funeral scene, that made me feel like the mom at least was afraid, or was like, not afraid of him getting the wrong kind of culture is when we meet.
Well, that is when it happened. Yeah. That is when it was actually that's when it took place.
Right.
When we see fucking
Curtis.
Shit. fucking Chet.
Chet Hanks. It was so weird.
And I said it immediately. I was like, is that motherfucking Chet Hanks? That's Chet fucking Hanks, dog. And you were like, I didn't look it up because you know what? There's no way that's him. And you looked it up, and then that was him. Like, I told you, that's that nigga right there.
Right. Yeah, I was like, I don't know if that's him because I haven't seen him, and I know his whole vibe. So I was like, I don't know if they're like this is like somebody they're trying to. It's like, oh, this is a Chet Hanks type person, or if this is actually him.
No, that was Chet Hanks.
That was Chet Hanks with a very weird cameo. Not even the weirdest one that we're going to talk about, I feel like. But we'll get to that in the next episode.
It's the weirdest cameo in this episode.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, then, like, later during the funeral, very beautiful ceremony, we find out that these guys didn't know anything about their housekeeper because, she was a world-renowned dancer, or very accomplished dancer, and her, family had... her nephew was in the fucking wide receiver for the Patriots.
She also started like a program for children who didn't have who were less fortunate, and she started a couple of high schools.
Yeah,
a couple of programs at a high school, and then she also gave birth in space.
Like, Jesus Christ, what did this bitch not do, dog? This bitch did everything.
Yeah, I think she built a hospital on the moon. Yeah, like she did.
Well, she was going to give birth in space, so she had to.
It's like, I got to start this maternity ward.
She had to get that wing built. Got to make that wing.
Yeah, it was like...
I want it named after me. I built this motherfucker. I'm having
call
a
this
baby.
the Sylvia wing.
Yeah, I'm having a baby in here.
It was really great, just showing how accomplished this woman was, but also just like, how disconnected people can be, not only from their kids, but also the people who are raising their kids. It's like, not making any connection with them. And I like what we mentioned earlier. I understand the struggle. You got to go out there and make that money.
No, but that's not how it used to be. We grew up with parents who worked, and they had to. They knew everybody who was watching us,
right? Mm-hmm.
And they knew everything about everybody who was watching us.
Yeah,
even if they were family or not family. And so that just shows you what the disconnect is.
Right. Yeah.
It's between human beings. It ain't necessarily between the kids. The kids separation between adults and children is always going to exist. Because they're children,
yeah,
and we're adults,
and you're right, and it is a choice because I mean my girlfriend she babysitted for these kids for like 2 years, and she got to know the family really really well, and in speaking to that, like the emotional investment that you put into these kids is huge, and we kind of see that in this scene where like everybody's dancing and happy, but one of the daughters gets really upset because. Sylvia spent all this time with all these kids that she raised, like Sebastian and Chet, and didn't get a chance to raise her own kids. She missed out on these really pivotal moments in their lives. So I thought that was really beautiful, really sad.
But they already displayed at the beginning that this white family is constantly missing this kid's life.
Right, yeah.
They weren't there for family picture day.
Right, yeah. They mentioned, that... glad you brought that up. Yeah, that they weren't there for family picture day. They didn't find it weird at all.
But like, what? Tell that bitch to suck my dick. Who would dare ask you that question? Next time we see her, we're gonna wait till next week because Sylvia is. We're gonna have a respect for Sylvia. We're just gonna wait till next week, and I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna cuss that bitch out. Talk to my baby girl like that. Also. Dude, the dad was listening to trap music while he was running.
That's right. He was listening to trap music while he was running. So yeah, obviously.
And I don't listen to enough hip hop. There's so much hip hop out there. I don't know.
So much.
I didn't know if he was listening to something that was real or something that they made up for this show.
Right. Yeah. Like who knows? I wasn't quite sure, but it was interesting that he was listening to rap music at the beginning. And then, there's a big fight that breaks out. Funny moment where you see the little boy go, ah! Like, he's just screaming in the corner. That is a moment where I laughed out loud. But then, the Devin, Sylvia's old friend, calms everybody down and is like, hey, y'all scaring the white folks. And, he explains that
you're scaring the white people.
He's like, this is how we said. this
This-
is how.
He said, "Little one, are you scared?" He said, "Yeah, hell yeah, nigga, I'm scared." And he said, "It's okay. We just sad. This is how we sad."
Yeah.
It's like, next scene,
Instant
nigga,
tears.
yeah,
the
like,
first
yeah,
time I
right?
watched that, I started crying. Man, that was just
you
like,
need to start talking to your therapist about certain things. That was not a cry moment. I started laughing on the inside.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I just
started laughing.
I mean, I cried during everything. I cried during Endgame. I cried during like everything that I watch if it's like emotional. But yeah, like it was.
There's
a really
nothing
beautiful-
emotional about it.
I'm just an emotional man. But yeah, then after that scene, the mom feels like horrified. Feels like they did a bad thing by bringing the kid to the funeral.
bad thing.
But yeah, like obviously I feel like the dad doesn't feel that way. It's
I
just
think he
kinda
got
split.
some culture. He was all right. Shit, that nigga know more about niggas than we do. Fuck that, bitch. We needed to go to that.
Right? Yeah.
You worried about him? We need to be worried about ourselves. That's what he looked like he wanted to tell her. Well, that's what he should have told her.
Right. Yeah. Like I feel like that there was a sort of a missed opportunity for them to have sort of more of a revelation about something, or like maybe they learned something, but it just seems like they kind of experienced something where it just kind of left a, I guess, hope that they learned something from it.
I think that hope is the right word.
Yeah, because like they seem very divided on it, and you don't really know where they're gonna land on how they, as far as how they're gonna raise this kid. But very interesting episode. I dug it a lot, but not funny at all to me.
Also, at the end of the episode, the package gets dropped back off.
Oh yeah, that's right. We get the third knock.
And it was the third knock, nigga. He knocked until like, god damn.
Yeah,
nigga.
that was the intense knock.
It was intense. Yeah, but yeah, then there was pictures of Sylvia and Bash sitting together.
Yeah.
At family picture day. You sorry motherfucker, you Chet. You's a sorry motherfucker, Chet. I don't know what the nigga's name was, but sorry as
he's
hell,
probably
dog.
So and also shout outs to like Atlanta casting. They always do a great job. I've never seen any of those actors in that funeral scene, but they're all really good.
All really good.
And you got. I always just think about like how this is like a first acting job for a lot of the people on this show, because I've never seen any of them before, and they're all just knocking it out of the park. So just shout outs
Not
to
the
all
first
the black
acting
actors.
job, most of it. I'm sure it's the first time you've seen it.
Oh well, yeah, right. Like first big thing on TV.
Yeah.
This might get them like put it on your reel.
Now we gotta move on to a very awkward fucking episode.
Yeah, new jazz.
Where we end up starting the scene in a coffee shop with Darius and Paperboy.
Darius and Paperboy, they got plans to do drugs. Nepalese honey, hallucinogenic honey mixed with weed. They go to a little coffee shop, get these little space cakes, and it seems like they kind of split up after they start walking around.
They definitely split up.
It seems like Darius is feeling it pretty instantly, and Alfred is not. But then we kind of find out later that he definitely is.
And he has been.
Yeah. I really like this episode. Like, what were your first initial thoughts of this episode? I really.
Well, yeah, I love this episode. At first, when I saw old dude in the corner with his shoes, I was like, "Those are Al's shoes."
Oh, you peeped that from the beginning. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that was really trippy.
Yeah, I was like, that looked like him.
Yeah, that was a really trippy moment.
And then when he said they were going to go get drugs, I was like, "Oh, that's gonna be him."
All right. Yeah, that was wild. But yeah, like they taking drugs, and they go down this hallway, or down this they ended up in a red light district or whatever.
They're going down in the red light district.
Yeah, and they kind of get split up, and Paperboy is like very noticeably very nervous around all these tourists, because as we remember season 2, he gets jumped by 3 fans while he's just like out walking around. So he's like, "Hey man, you gonna be my security?" And then I guess Darius's answer is, "Nope, I'm very high. I'm gonna walk this way."
And then Paperboy sees some rowdy. Well, I like how you made the parallel to the episode where he went into the woods. Make that parallel again where you were talking about how there was 3 kids in that.
Yeah. There was 3 kids that were fans of him, and like they were.
And they tried to attack.
And they tried to attack him.
And they attacked him. And then
yeah.
Flash forward to this episode. There's 3 older children, older than those guys. Could even possibly be the same actors.
Well, those kids were black. These kids were white.
Oh, that's true. So they couldn't be them. This is drunk Banthas. So, yeah, my point is there's 3 kids before that. There's 3 kids now. It's him trying to, like, work shit out. It's him trying to work shit out.
Yeah, he's, like, lost like he was in that episode.
Yeah, he's lost because he's getting confused because he's on drugs.
And this next moment after he like dodges the white kids, I like me and my girlfriend were watching this. We rewound it like 3 times because we could not stop laughing
when the kids picked up the baby out of the goddamn basket.
Oh
like,
my god! I was like, what?
I was like, what are they gonna do? I thought for sure they were gonna just like attack the lady.
Oh, okay, yeah, because you do see him motion toward her. Yeah.
No, I just kind of saw him like look towards that direction, but I just saw how they got quiet and calm, and I just thought, oh, they're gonna do like the most fucked up thing you can think of, and just start like trying to attack this lady, and then they just went they blew through all my stop signs, all my red lights. They blew through all of them bitches, and went and picked up a goddamn baby, and then threw that baby at him.
Threw it. Oh my god, it was like horrifying and hilarious.
It was a
like,
fake ass doll. Like
Yeah,
you
it
can
was
see
clearly-
how fucking
fake.
fake this goddamn baby was. But I'm just like, god damn, dog.
Oh my god.
Why
that was-
did y'all do that? I was like, yeah, you made the right decision now. Get your ass out the streets.
Yeah, these guys are bringing the wrong kind of energy. You know what? You don't want none of that. That was hilarious. But then he like stumbles into a theater or a museum, and he runs into a black trans woman who is like just reading him about his hat and his finances because she finds out that he's a rapper, and I guess like she's just trying to like school him on like his finances, but doing it in just like the meanest way. Kind of like also to parallel with the Woods episode, he also
Yeah, I just didn't get what was up with him being trailed around by some big black tranny all the time.
yeah, I don't understand the reasoning behind him or behind her being trans specifically. Yeah, but we do find out later that she's got the same name as his mom, which is
Right,
like,
which is Lorraine, but I'm just saying, I don't know. I gotta watch it again. I
don't know the significance of her being a trans woman, but yeah, like it's got a lot of parallels to the Woods episode where he's also like hanging out with the girl all day, and then she's also like telling him, oh, you need to do this and this and that, and then he kind of just like takes it as an insult, and then like is like fuck off, and then he leaves. But then later he's like, well, maybe I do need to apply this to my career, and like, and then we kind of see him level up from that point, which is I thought was like an interesting touch. I don't know if this seems too intentionally like similar to that episode to not be like kind of maybe another cornerstone in his career. Maybe we'll see him level up a little bit more in the future.
I think so. I think he's going to lose his writer's block by the end of this season.
Oh, you think so? Oh, yeah. Then yeah, right, because he did mention in the other episode, and yeah, that'll be.
And this is the kind of show when a character says something very serious, you can't really wave it off.
Right. Yeah. They
don't really say much on this show. The dialogue, these scripts have to be in very, very thick. You know what I'm saying? Because there's some stuff that's just not done. They don't do anything but describe the way things are. They just walk into rooms and stand and look a lot of the time.
Right. Yeah. There's not a lot of there's not a whole lot of dialogue sometimes. I thought that this one was pretty chatty. But I guess it was mainly from from Lorraine's character, because Al was mainly, especially in the museum scene, he was just trying to like avoid people looking at him. But then Lorraine's like, first step, if you're trying to not be noticed, you need to take off that fucking hat. But then then she takes him to what we find out is the cancel club, the place I guess where people who are canceled go.
That's right.
And we see none other than motherfucking Liam Neeson.
Bar. Liam Neeson's.
What did you think of this scene? Like, personally?
I thought it was wonderful the way they did it because you think, oh, here they go. They're trying to give Liam Neeson like a handout here, like he's gonna be feeling all cool, and they were like, "No, I hate the lot of you. Like, get the fuck out of here. Not because you're black, but because you fucking ruined my career."
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch because they did start out with like the very like sincere human moment where he. Because, like, yeah, we all know about the backlash now, like, where he talked about, he had a friend who got raped, and then he went out trying to find a black dude to beat the shit out of. And I did, like, when it initially happened.
Context, and then that's exactly what he said for me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, just like for, anybody who hadn't, like, watched the episode. But, like, it's crazy. Like, when it happened, I thought pretty much what he says in this episode. Like, I figured that he was trying to talk about how he used to be and sort of use that to explain who he is now. But then I also thought, ooh, you should have kept that to yourself. You probably shouldn't have told that story because, like, no one's going to react positively to that. But I thought it was very interesting. And like you said, at the end, they got to have their cake and eat it too, have the sincere moment, but then have it be like, nah, but I hate all black people. But mainly because you fuck with my money.
No, yeah, I hate y'all. I hate all you niggas.
I thought that was good. That was another moment where we had to pause it and rewind it a few times. Actually, I think we paused it like 4 times in the Liam Neeson scene alone. When we first saw him, we had to pause and laugh. And then when he said another moment, I definitely laughed when he said, he put his hands on his shoulder. He's like, great and worst thing. The greatest and worst thing about being white is that you don't actually have to learn any lessons.
It's the greatest and worst thing.
If you don't want to, he said. Yeah.
It's the greatest and worst thing.
Man, I thought that was great. Great cameo. 2
Amazing
great cameos back to back. But I did prefer this one. But then, Paperboy makes it out of the club.
You want to go to the club. You want to get busy. You want to get busy. You better get on this. Bang, 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 bang.
Lorraine starts to tell him again, your homeboy Darius is not paying for shit. You got your family taking care of your finances. You don't even know who owns your masters. Like what's wrong with you? And then like he starts to I guess super trip out, like realize that he's on drugs. And yeah, like you said, he started like doubles over, and he's the image that him and Darius saw earlier when they were on their way to the coffee shop, which is just like big old head trip.
Yeah, because fuck these motherfuckers, man. Why would you do that to my brain?
Yeah, I'm assuming, like, when do you think the moment he started tripping was, like, when he walked into the theater? That's, like, when he started, everything was fake?
When they walked outside.
Oh, when he walked right out the door, like, that's when he started tripping.
Nigga, he saw himself.
Yeah.
Nigga, he saw himself tripping on the sidewalk.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I just thought, like, that was all really, really trippy. I really enjoyed this episode. I really felt for him too, because I've definitely been laying on my side and out of my mind on mushrooms. And according to the people, to the person that was there, I look just like him when he passed out on the streets.
You were passed out.
Yeah, it was wild. But yeah, and then he wakes up later in a very nice hotel. Ern by his side. You see he's been taking care of him. He's been passed out for 10 hours. And Paperboy's like, where's Lorraine at? And Ern's like, your mom? And, then we find out, okay, that she's definitely not real. And it's kind of probably has some sort of connection to him grieving his mom. Maybe we'll find out that, it's maybe some sort of anniversary of his mom's death. That's why it was just subconsciously on his brain. But very interesting episode.
Very interesting.
I really, really dug it. It's probably one of my favorites just because it made me laugh so hard. Like, again, I had to pause for laughter like a million times during this episode. And maybe it was also because the contrast of how serious the last one was.
Yeah, definitely. Liam Neeson's. Shout out to Liam Neeson's.
Shout out to Liam Neeson's for having the courage to do this.
Yeah, because he didn't have to. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. He always struck me as a guy who, doesn't take himself too seriously. And
his name is Sir Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he's a knight. That's right. I forgot.
I think you need to relax on the doesn't seem like type of guy bullshit, because that nigga is that type of guy.
Well, I mean, he'll do a cameo in like a Seth MacFarlane movie, and he'll do like silly sketches on. I mean, yeah, all of this is for money, but you could, he's also very rich. He could say no because I'm not.
Let me tell you something about people who are really rich.
Myself.
Tell you people who are really rich they got bills, really, really big bills.
That's true.
So
that's true. But there's something to be said for being willing to make fun of yourself.
I gave him those flowers. You said there's something to be said. I said it already. I just wasn't finna jump out the window like you did.
But yeah, I really like this episode. Again, one of my favorites. We're interested to see where this season goes. I think we only got like 2 episodes left. I forgot to check. But yeah, anything you want to add about these last 2? Before we wrap it up?
Nah, man. That's it, really.
Yeah.
Yo, like and subscribe. If you listen this long, I just want to say thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate all of your support. Thanks for listening to the Drunk Banthas podcast. We do this every once in a while, so go ahead and leave a like and subscribe so you can get updates on new episodes of the pod and new video essays from yours truly. Check us out on Twitter, IG, TikTok, likewise, all the internet things at Drunk Banthas. Until next time, stay safe, my little Chet Hanks. I should have thought of something else. May the force be with you.